What is intellectual property? Intellectual property has to do with whatever your mind conceives, condensed into tangible form, realizable form, objectively recognizable form. They call it creations of the mind. So if it's a name that you make up, something that you've decided to pull together to identify your business, that business name or trademark or brand is intellectual property. But not only is that intellectual property, the love letter you wrote when you were in high school or first year university when you were giddy is also intellectual property. You'd be surprised to know what can happen with that. And so that takes us back to rummaging through the rubble. So your business is well established and it's going on, it's doing what's supposed to happen. But you're not making any money because the product that you're selling is just doing enough to cover the expenses to keep the business turning. Because you can't get into the markets you want to get into because you don't have the capital to expand into those markets. And you might be able to go into the market, but you don't have enough capital to properly establish your feet in the market. Or you don't have the resources to set up shop, to hire staff, to do all of these things in a new market. What's your option? The options then begin to extend to things like licensing, franchising, joint venture agreements, etc., 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 which don't make any sense at all unless you have properly secured your intellectual property. This time we're not only talking about the trademark or the brand or the name. We're talking about know-how, trade secrets. And know-how has to do with how you operate your business. All the tricks, all the little bells and whistles that only your business knows. What makes your business unique? What makes you you? What makes you operate in the way you operate with the success with which you operate? Your trade secrets include a whole host of things that you would not want your competitors to know. Almost anything legal that your business has as information that is not available to anybody outside of your business, even to some of the people in your business, could be your trade secret, including your lists of customers, including your sources of raw material, including the methodologies by which you get certain things done. Speaking of Coca-Cola, speaking of Colonel Sanders and his recipe, speaking of all sorts of other similar things, trade secrets are valued at billions of US dollars. And somebody had to think about it when it was only valued their sleepless night or not. Somebody had to know that this was going to be valuable at day one to have kept it a secret. Because if you told the girlfriend you had at the time, or the gentleman you were seeing at the time, who did not become your spouse, and who has become somebody else's spouse who wants to go into the same business, you know you no longer have a trade secret. In fact, it's not only your trade secret that is no longer a secret. But having considered all of that, it is important to understand that there's a lot that you take for granted, that you call rubble, that you call junk, that is not that important in your business. So you do a presentation. And it is all documented, nice and well bounded. And you just leave it in the office, drop it under somewhere, throw it in a box. It's done. The presentation is done. Everybody enjoyed it. It was beautiful. People come and ask you, so, can I get that presentation? It was really lovely. Sure, and you give them. And they take it, and they may use it or not. And everybody goes away from the conference and is impressed because you did an excellent job. Well, clearly you had to apply some of your intellect to put that presentation together. And clearly there's something you did that was creative and interesting and informative and so on that made it so good. Even this performance that I am doing just now, it is being recorded on that red lighted instrument over there, has some amount of value. Thank you, sir. And so in the 60 seconds I have left, I will wrap it up. Now, every element of your business produces intellectual property. If you have a process, if you make things, that process throws up intellectual property. You have to use things that are patentable and processes that are patentable. So apart from your trademark and the copyright in the text and music that you may create, or just documentary evidence, just documentation, recipes, processes, presentations, etc. Apart from all of those, intellectual property is lying around you. You are doing designs, different designs of products are also registrable. And you need to look around your office for those. Not only should you register them, but you should look into ways and means of licensing them to other people so that they can capitalize on it for you to receive some kind of financial reward. The idea is, don't sit on it. Don't keep it in your office because it is yours, when in fact it could be earning for you. The last thing I will say in the 10 seconds I have left is that we need to appreciate that there are some people in the world who their only business is to condense ideas into tangible form and license them to other people. So the only risk you take is that nobody will buy your idea. Other than that, it is marketable, and it in fact is the most lucrative business in the world, exploiting intellectual property.